Hi, today I'm sharing with you the lesson that is created specifically for the Young Learners class about listening to God and understanding and appreciating the symbolism of the Christ candle and of the light when we discuss the message of Jesus and resurrection. And as always with the Young Learners class, you'll be doing the same lesson 2 weeks in a row. So you'll be, if you're serving the second week of that cycle, they'll have already had this exact same lesson, but you're repeating it because they're quite young and it's helpful to be repetitive, but also because we want to make sure we catch all of these kids that are in this transitional class going from the toddlers up to the early elementary. So trying to make sure we get in all this important content and don't miss anybody that may have been absent just 1 week. So as I share the lesson today, bearing in mind that these kids are in this transitional class, it's a lot of orientation, a lot of introduction to what the classroom sanctuary is like and how it's different from the toddler classroom. So even though this week's lesson isn't specifically about the orientation to the worship space, which they had several weeks ago, I'll always include the basket that has the images that were used during that lesson, so that as you gather them together, what's very special and unique about the classrooms after they reach the Young Learners class is that when they first come in, they don't immediately go and play. That's unique in comparison to the younger classes. So as they come in, there's this green rug with the black couch in it, adjacent to it, and then there's a whole room kind of on the other side of these small tables. I'll actually show you. So here's the couch. Most often the instructor or teacher will sit in the couch in order to teach, so the kids can sit here on the rug. And there are tables here which are stacked up for cleaning purposes right now, but the tables create kind of a barrier so that there's one side of the room that's for play and one side of the room that's for instruction. So even if you kind of want to curve the tables around and move them so that it feels even more like a barrier, that's fine. But they'll come right into the classroom, have a seat, and as they're getting seated, take a moment to get to know them a little bit better, ask their names, which of course is a really powerful way to connect with a child. Ask them about Halloween maybe, or Thanksgiving upcoming, or the things they're looking forward to about winter. Whatever it may be, this is an opportunity for you to get to know them better and to invest a little bit in who they are, get to know their unique personalities. And once you feel like there's a handful of kids, maybe even until it feels like they're all there, take a moment, as always, every single week to review the expectations of the classroom sanctuary. You might show them a picture they've seen before. You say, what are these little girls doing? Are they yelling at each other? Are they shouting? No, they're whispering. They're talking gently to one another. That's what we do here in this classroom. This is an image to remind them of the expectation that there's no reason to scream and shout. We're in a quiet place for learning and being together. And then you can show them pictures of children sitting crisscross. You can look around the room and say, who is sitting crisscross like these children? They're showing that they're ready to learn. I think we have a couple of images of that. Yeah, here's another one. If you want, you can point out, have them explain what they see, why it's good for children to sit crisscross. Of course, it helps them to keep their hands and feet to themselves, gives enough space for everyone. If you'd like, you can even tell this age group is ready to think about the fact that when you sit crisscross, you learn better because your right brain and your left brain can work together. And when your right leg and your left leg are crisscross, it helps some things in your brain to crisscross. So everything can work better together. Kids usually love that kind of factoid. Anyway, show them the images. Look at these children walking. They're not rushing. We have no reason to rush. Look at these children seated and eating. This one's a little harder to see, but the children are seated peacefully, having a snack, which they'll have later. And after you've had a moment to reflect on the expectations of the classroom, then take a moment to pray with the children. And you begin the lesson at that point. Better to wait just a little longer than you might think you need to in case a few stragglers come in, they don't have to miss out. So as I move along with the lesson, I may refer back to some of the previous lesson topics, and at one point You'll have the opportunity, if you'd like, to reread a book that they read a couple of weeks ago about talking with God and how God meets each of us, how Jesus meets each of us in our own unique need. So a few things that we may refer back to from previous lessons that you're always welcome to make connections to as well. All right, so begin the lesson, and I hope it's helpful. Okay. Well, friends, the worship space, the classroom sanctuary, is a very special place. It's a different place. It's not like your classroom at school. It's not like your living room at home, or your bedroom, or the playground, or the kitchen, or the grocery store. It's a special place, different than those things. In this place, we have all the time that we need. All the time that we need. We don't need to hurry. We can walk more slowly, like we talked about. Because someone might be talking to God in this place. Someone might be listening to God, and we don't want to disturb them. This is a special place set apart to be with God. You can be with God anywhere you go. No matter what, He's always with you. But this is a place that's especially set apart for that time and that learning. This is a place to be with God, to talk to God, to listen to God, to hear stories about God. So we need to make sure that we are ready to walk, to sit calmly, to talk gently, to eat peacefully. This is a special place for those things. Can you show me that you're ready? Can you show me that you're ready to do these things like we've practiced? Good. I'm going to tell you a story today about a light. Once, there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that the people began to follow him. He said such wonderful things and did such wonderful things that the people wanted to be near him, so they followed him. But they didn't really know who he was. So one day they simply had to ask him. And you know what he said? He said, "I am the light." Let's light this candle. He said, "I am the light." Now, my friends, let's remember to be safe. We don't need to blow out the candle. We don't need to lean over the candle. We don't need to touch the candle. We just want to look at the candle with our eyes. People who love the light of Jesus. He said, "I am the light." People that love the light can become one with the light. This is how your light can become one with the light. Would you like to see? This is a light to remind us that Jesus said He is the light. I'm going to get some other lights ready. Watch. See this little light? Evelyn, this is your light. It came from the light of Jesus, the light of Evelyn. Piper, this is your light. Look how the light is growing. Look how the light is growing. Zachariah, this is your light. Wow. How can the light be in so many places at once? Stella, this is your light. Judah, this is your light. Henry, this is your light. Wow. Enjoy that light. It's so beautiful. So teachers, you would literally light a candle for every single student in the class. Say each of their names, acknowledge each of them individually, even if you have a lot of them. Every single child gets a light. Now, many have come to the light to receive their light, just like this. But the light is not smaller. It's still the same. It is still as bright. I wonder how much light could be given away. How many candles, how many lights could we make from just one light? Would it still be the same? Now, there was even a day when I received my light. I became one with the light. Let's enjoy it together. Now, there comes a time when the light is changed, so it's not just in one place anymore. It can be in many places at once, or even more. Watch now. Do you see how the light of the Christ candle is in just one place, one flame? Well, watch. I'm going to change the light so it's not just in one place anymore. Watch. Shh. Now that light is anywhere you go in the room. You can even breathe in. Maybe you can smell the light. Now watch. I'm going to change the other lights. Evelyn. See? Piper. Zechariah. Olive. Judah. Henry. The light is still with us, but it's with us in a new way, in a different way. Even the light has changed. And the light that was in just one place at one time is now in all places, at all times. So the light can be everywhere in this room and even out into the hall, home with us in our hearts. We can even breathe it in to our lungs. This is the light. Jesus told us He is the light. All right, so a little esoteric perhaps for 4 and 5-year-olds, but we really want to introduce this idea of mystery. We really want to introduce the idea of this aesthetic mystery, aesthetic symbolism very early on so that they can begin to just revel in the beauty of that contemplation, the beauty of that quiet, and to begin to really draw connections between the things that we're doing in the classroom, the things that we're doing in form of worship or liturgy, to the idea of who Christ is and what He is in our lives. So as you complete this activity, this lesson, so to speak, you will then ask the children just one at a time to begin some free time. They can do artwork. There's plenty of materials for that. They can play. And in this Young Learners class, the lesson is short so that they can have some free time. And let's see. Yes, at about 12:10, I guess. is when you'll begin that. Trying to get used to the timing on these things, but just keep an eye on the time. The 9:30 service ends at about 10:30, and the 11:30 service ends at about 12:30, give or take. So make sure that you allow enough time for them to come back to the table. They'll seat. You will say a thank you blessing over the food and hand out the feast. You might even remind them, as we do in the older classes, that Jesus had a special meal with his friends, and we get to have a special meal with our friends, because the essence of this feast time is sort of a precursor to communion. So as they're seated, you've prayed, you hand out the food, then that's the perfect opportunity to then read from the Bible or revisit the book that's been read previous Sundays, so that you can continue to build the momentum of that learning and help them to kind of revisit the things that you've talked about before they head home, and they won't just remember the playtime. And anyhow, I hope that's helpful. This is, like I said, a very kind of symbolic lesson, so feel free to refer any questions that they may have to me, or to just feel confident in saying, that's a great question, if you're not really sure how to answer something. And remind them that questions are great and that they can talk to their moms and dads about these things. Again, refer them to me or Christine if you're not sure how to handle a question or something that they're confused about. But allow this lesson to just be a mystery as much as you can, because it's a beautiful thing to imagine the light of Christ in all of us, as the symbolism of the light spreading, not becoming dimmer, but only growing and growing and growing. And what that can mean to their little minds is a really powerful thing. So anyways, let me know if you have questions. Thank you so much.